Hello, angel baby princesses. I got glasses. And now I can see things better than I could before. And I just thought I'd come on here because I haven't been on here in a while. I explained a little bit about that in the video to do kind of my everyday look that I've been going to recently. I feel like I kind of have it under wraps. Like I really figured out stuff that I really like on my face. Every day I can trust it to look good, and it's quick, it's easy. I also talk a little bit, I touch base again about my no-buy, which, spoilers, but it hasn't been a no-buy. So in that vein, if you're interested, keep watching. My skin is looking a little rough. There's some stress products. I don't know. It's just I pick. Sorry. So I'm gonna start with the Tower 28 in MDR. So I actually don't want to do too much of this because I've been having some problems like having it stick on my face. It doesn't get along well with my Fix Plus, which is a little unfortunate because that's how I wet my beauty blender. So I've been trying to figure other things out. I've been using a brush, but unfortunately this is a really good shade for me right now. And on that note, my no-buy, I feel like it's time to do a check-in because I said I would do one from January through March. It is now March, and that I would check in. And I have to admit, it did not go well. I was unfortunately buying things. I think there's a few lessons to be learned. And I think there's like a few places where I was like falling short and a few circumstances where I found myself like unable to stop temptation, let's say. So the first being, anytime I went into TJ Maxx to like pick up something that I was actually going to like need or use, so like another like toner, because I like used all of mine and I really do use my toner, I would get sucked in. I would get distracted. I think from that I need to, and I've started not going to TJ Maxx for my skincare products anymore because of the temptation. Like everything is just like higher end makeup that's like discounted, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna see this again. Versus if I go to like a Walgreens or even a Target where I know they're gonna have that product in stock, I can just get what I came there for and not be sucked into all the little trinkets, all the little things I find. So yeah, there's that. The other thing is that unfortunately I went on a trip. That's kind of why I've been quiet over here. I mean, among other reasons, I've just been kind of having a lot of events, things going on in my life. And so I've just been slower. I've been doing my nails. I've been like decorating, painting press-ons, so that takes up some of my time. I went on a trip, as I was saying, to Miami to visit my friend, and I got some color. And unfortunately, that's another pitfall in terms of the no-buy, is that my face is always changing shades, and I need to work on my olive skin collection, shall we say, of base products, because I find that like something will match me for like a week and then I'm a different shade. So unfortunately, a lot of the things I was buying also through my no-buy were concealers and green correctors. This was like 2 concealers, like a single green corrector, but just things that like I could justify to myself by saying I don't want my base to look crazy. I want something that actually matches me. But within that, it was during my no-buy. So I don't know if I can even call it a no-buy at this point because I was buying things, but alas. So the second takeaway is that I should, in my makeup collection, have different concealer shades and not be like, oh, that's way too light, let me get rid of that, and just know that in the winter I will be needing it again. So at some point, I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's like pretty well rounded, so maybe I'll like go through all the shades for the different seasons that I have at the moment, and I think that might be something good. But yeah, I just have to tell myself, like, obviously I'm not going to stay the same shade throughout the year, so just because something doesn't match me right now doesn't mean it will never match me or does not match me at all. I'm just gonna add a little bit more because my dark circles are popping today. Yes, but the bright side of all of this is that I do feel like I have really gotten a nice everyday routine. I feel like that's very separate from my no buy, but it was just within those same months I've really found the products that I'm kind of liking and that are working for what I need. And a big part of what I've discovered is that I'm not really a blush person. I don't like a lot of color on my face. And so, okay, rewind. I was making a video that never saw the light of day because I didn't like how the makeup turned out, but it was like this makeup look on Daisy Edgar Jones that I'm gonna put on the screen somewhere. And in the same vein as like the Zoe Kravitz one, I really loved the placement of all the cheek products. And I've been kind of playing around with that idea and with that image in mind, and it's really stuck, and it's really gotten me to a point in like my base makeup that I really like. So with that in mind, I'm gonna do the cheeks. I've been really, so I used this a ton like 2 years ago. 1 year ago. It's the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Nutcracker. And like the tiniest bit goes a long way, so I'm just gonna be very sparing. And it's like a cooler toned, oh, that was too much. There we go. A cooler toned, like almost between a contour and a bronzer. It's a little red on me, but I don't mind it just for like a little bit of color. And you'll see, like that's the tiniest little dot, but it's going places. And I just really like that as a contour in the hollows of my face. And yeah, as I was saying, I've been really playing around with like a lower blush placement and mostly gravitating towards like a more contour shade to add dimension to my face as opposed to a blush, because I don't think, like, unfortunately, the blushes that I see on the market just are not really made for my undertone or even like aligned with like what I like. I'm sure someone with my undertone who likes like a lot of color on their face could make it work, but I don't know, because there was a time where I did a lot of blush and then I look back at pictures and it just does not look like, it's just very standing out on my face, if that makes sense. It doesn't like meld nicely. So we've got that, and like all of my scars are still showing through, but this isn't everyday makeup, and like I really don't feel the need to cover them up because I have a lot else going on my face. Daisy Edgar Jones makeup has really helped me identify like what I like in an everyday look, which has also helped me like streamline my products, because instead of like playing around with makeup every day and not knowing if I'm gonna like how it turns out, I have something that I can now like just throw on, and even like going out, like the base kind of remains the same and I just play around with like either the eyes or the lips. And I mean, sometimes I'll do a little bit more of like a flushed look, but I found like an orange blush is nice for that, so maybe I'll come on here and do like a little bit more of a summery orange situation. Who knows? Okay, this is the key, this product. And I'm sure you can, you know, use what you have, but as I was saying, I really have been gravitating away from like powder blushes, really colorful, like pink, whatever, on my cheeks. But the Generation G, see, it's disgusting because I use it all the time and I took it to Miami with me and it was perfect. Generation G formula is a lip formula. It's working better on me now than when I originally got it a few years ago, because it would just kind of stay in the cracks of my lips and I did not like it. But on the cheeks, it's got this like blurring quality and it just like provides the most subtle like tint of color. So I'm just gonna work off the like concealer on it off onto my hand because you'll see. I apply it like straight to the cheek on the like lower part of my cheek. And because of that, like it picks up a lot of product and then it looks kind of gray. So I just like, the next time I put it on, I take it, I like work that top layer off on the back of my hand. Okay, that might have been a lot. So we'll see when I blend it out. But as I was saying, it's got like a very beautiful like blurring quality to it. And it adds just like the most subtle, I'm just using the smaller part of the brush just to work it in. And then I'll really blend it out with the bigger end that I was using for the contour. This is an Eco Tools brush that I got in high school. So there we go. On the nose, and then I'm really gonna stamp it in with the fluffier end of the brush. And I just really like this color. I also have it in Fuzz, which is kind of more of a raspberry, which I like because neither of them adds like too much color, just like a blurry little tint. The lighting in this video is really bad, I can already tell. But it looks nice in person to me. Going back to my no buy, I really need to figure something out that like works for me in terms of like a balance of adding new products but not exaggerating and just being realistic with myself, let's say, because I do like, I have a lot of makeup but I enjoy playing around with it. That said, I kind of know now what I like on the face and on the cheeks, so maybe knowing like I really don't, and I said this in my original no buy video, like the announcement for the no buy, but like knowing realistically what I'm willing to play around with and what I already like in my collection. And the thing is, there's always this little part of me that's like, oh, but what if there's something out there that I didn't even know I liked? But I think maybe it doesn't have to be like a product situation, in which I saw Hannah Louise Poston do this beautiful video where she was gathering all this like makeup inspo, in which she explained that like she has been gravitating towards the idea of really playing up like a single feature of your makeup. I'm just adding a little more concealer underneath because I think the contour went a little too far down. It migrated. There we go. Yeah, I'm really not fucking with the shadows in this video today. But anyway, where you really like play up one feature, but in a more like editorial way. And with that, I feel like there are ways to try out different looks using the makeup I have. Again, this is nothing new, but I just have to keep reminding myself this because it gets really tempting to be like, oh my God, there's this new product everyone's talking about and I really want to try it. But knowing that I have something that could achieve a similar look. Exactly. So that's kind of like my soft contoured base with like a little bit of color everywhere. And then the eye part and the lip part, I'm not necessarily going to try to match to the picture that I was showing you because that was more like how I have been inspired to be doing my base recently, like in the most loose sense of the word inspired, because I know it doesn't look anything like the picture. But now I'm just going to go in with a bit of brown and do my like everyday eye look. I always like switch up the color of my eyeliner. I have like a blue, a green, a black, which is what I use most, and then this brown, and then like a warmer brown. So I'm just gonna do like a bit of a cool brown today. And I'm being really sloppy with it because I actually got glasses. And I've never used glasses. I've never used contacts before. So this is exciting because it's just like another little accessory to bring everything together, honestly. And I can see distance now. My prescription's really low, so it's like chill. And I can see what I'm doing right now, but it's nice to see clearly. But yeah, so I'm not really gonna bother with the top, with the eyelid on top because of my glasses. And now I'm going to do some mascara. There we go. It's like 2 products, but very effective in transforming the eyes. Wow. I feel like I mostly like to enhance the eyes when I'm picking which part of my face to do. And I'm just going with the Tower 28 lip liner. What's the shade name? Color Me Fine. And then I'm just gonna go in with my e.l.f. lip oil in Hot as Fudge. I guess I lied because I said I like to play up my eyes and my lips look very now, but this fades and then it just gets a little more chill. And then for the glasses reveal, ooh, my glasses. But yeah, so I think I really do need to kind of evaluate the no buy situation. Maybe actually really hold myself to it. But I don't know, if you have any like tips or tricks for no buy. I know there's so many videos out there and I've been watching them, but I don't know what it is about when I feel like I want something, like I can't stop thinking about it and then I like have to get it. It's not healthy. I know that, and I'm not endorsing that. But yeah, I don't know, just it's a little frustrating, honestly. But I thought I'd come on here and be like a little more vulnerable about it just because I said I would do it and I was really trying to stick to it, but I don't know, it's just like I keep slipping up. So I think I'm gonna have to reevaluate. So whenever I come up with an actual solution, I'll come back on here and let y'all know. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed my just quick everyday makeup routine. Thanks so much for watching and commenting and liking the videos. So hopefully they'll keep coming. See ya. Bye.